What's up, everybody? Shiny Solo here, and I'm making an analysis on the trailer for Deltarune's upcoming chapters. So let's get this ahead. Kinda funny. The animation here is nice. Heartfelt journey of humor and friendship. Yeah, I find this being like an interesting case of actually putting Undertale in within Deltarune's like actual promotional stuff, considering Undertale has been deliberately mentioned as both being something you should play before you play Deltarune, and that it's not anywhere canon to Deltarune. We see the Shadow Man there. And the Addison for some reason. Well, lose card. Spam turn. So this is seemingly a chapter 3 thing with the Shadow Men. What I find interesting here is, I mean, unless it's just a gag for the, if it's just a gag for the game, it is honestly interesting to see that we are using, like, soul power within a more regular fight in Deltarune rather than the bosses, because we are shooting little red hearts with some sort of pointer, which I'm assuming will control with the mouse, and it is coming from their fingertips. That's kind of interesting. This is looking to be for the most of Deltarune chapter 3 or 4 or whatever, because of the whole fact of it being like two-way moused. But I wonder how he's going to import this to PC, considering, well, maybe they'll just make us so you have to use arrows and mouse, or WAC and arrows, who knows. Now this, I know I'm pausing so often. Now this is the bane of my existence. I hate this. This reminds me of my least favorite fight in Undertale Yellow. Al Balador with the whole rhythm bullshit, and now it's this. I do not like this. I think I'm gonna fucking hate this. Now, something interesting I find here that I think is actually an animation error the more I think about it, is Chris is purple initially in this throwing animation, but when they get thrown, like they're actually throwing and spinning a ball, they are blue again, which is weird. But in general, that their colors are just weird as well. I don't know. Okay, their colors are just weird. Why is Susie with brown hair? What? So this is clearly in the church, which means chapter 4 will be in the church, unless Toby Fox is for whatever reason pulling a fast one, unless it's gonna be like chapter 5 or something. But yeah, that is interesting that this is probably chapter 4, especially as we'll see later in the trailer. So when me and Jesse were reacting to this trailer for his first time, he said this gave him Omega Flowey vibes, which, yeah, that is honestly fair, and maybe there'll be like an Omega Flowey type fight in in Deltarune as well, probably, and somehow as like a main thing, or even like maybe the secret boss could also be the main boss. That actually might be an interesting way of doing things compared to the regular way Toby Fox has been doing things so far. But I doubt that's how he's going to do it, but it would be interesting. And then we actually see Chapter 4 here, which the colors are just so weird. Like, and Chris is back to being blue. Actually, now that I see that. But Susie is still a little off color. It kind of reminds me if Susie was like both of her forms were kind of mixed. I don't know how to describe it further than that. Chris's sword looks strange due to the color change. But what are these black things? I guess that's for time to tell. And then the animation here. So I really want to let this one play, but I'm going to let it play again, so hold on a minute. So, with that in hand, like we already see, that's an amazing animation, right? But I want to actually go... So, when I saw this, I wasn't initially thinking until I had my initial watch with Jesse. Hold on a minute. Anyways, if you actually let this play a little bit more, you see those look like wings that are actually coming out. And every time we see the angel depicted, it is actually like a ball with wings, and this kind of looks like a more like thing of that. But what else I actually suspected, and so did Jesse, was, see this star? This reminds me of something quite specific. Something like the Titan's Eye from Rousey's second story, which is interesting and could honestly be coincidental. But the fact that this both reminds me of the angel and the Titan could really mean that this right here could be hinting or like even showing something that will, like, could, or I guess I shouldn't say will, but that could very well show up at the end, except more pixelated, obviously. And with that being the fact, this being an angel, a Titan, or even an angel covering a Titan could mean a lot. I do want people to theorize on this, but I hadn't really seen anyone talk about this.
That's bad.
And then something else as well. What if the angel is using a save point? Because initially I thought that this was like an eye or something as well, because initially it's not that bright and it looks like it's kind of opening. But if you actually look at it, it's wings expanding or something. Which, this is a weird visual, either way. So the star could either be a save point or a Titan's eye, or maybe even both, depending on what you believe. But those wings really remind me of the angel. But I guess, as the trailer's saying, Deltarune is waiting. Goodbye, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this type of video. I thought it would be a good one to start off with.